Welcome, everybody, to the PHDJ podcast. My name is Mike.
And this is Joe Bunn.
And this is kind of a part two. Last week, we discussed the importance, you could say, of beat mixing and why, if you're not even thinking about it in your show, or even worse, if you're saying, no, it's not important, why you shouldn't have that philosophy and why you need to at least focus on it. So this week, I think we can do some basically just, getting started with beat mixing if you haven't. And again, for the Dave Landers of the world here, this is probably going to be boring and too 101. But I also want to say by the end of this, I don't know, have you seen the Jason Jani video when he talks about scratching?
Yeah, I did watch it. Yeah.
So I also think we should talk about that topic today. And I don't know if you have an opinion on it, but I certainly do. So we can kind of go 101 and then maybe 301 all in one episode.
Sure, let's do it.
So this kind of goes back to the Keys DVD that I put out, the video that I put out 5 years ago, where I thought it was a little bit basic just to teach or remind DJs about counting music. And when I put that out, I kind of braced myself to hear like, are a lot of DJs going to say, Mike, what are we, children?
Right.
This is too basic. But I was actually pleasantly surprised that a number of DJs thanked me for that and said either it was a great refresher or nobody had explained music and broke down music as much as clearly. So let's start there. I want to make this statement. A mix that is on beat isn't necessarily a good mix because it also should be on phrase. And if you don't know what that means, then you really haven't mastered beat mixing. It's not just about matching up the 1, 2, 3, 4, with the other songs. It's not just about that. Most dance music, the vast majority of dance music, is in 4/4 signature, which means 4 beats to a bar, 4 bars to a phrase. So starting the song on a downbeat is not just enough. What you want to do is start the beginning of a phrase at the beginning of a phrase of a song that's playing. So if that's beyond you, and if you're not understanding what I'm saying there, I hate to do a shameless plug, but you should pick up my Keys DVD, or you should look for other tutorials online, because anyone who's breaking down beat mixing will explain that to you. It's not just a matter of matching up beats.
And I'm not even going to front here. When I watched that DVD, I distinctly remember like writing down notes. I can count, and obviously I can do it in my head, and my phrasing is good. But when you hear somebody really break it down like Mike did in that DVD, you're like, oh damn, I'm hearing it, and I know what he's saying. I just never really did it, and hence why I miss sometimes. You know what I mean? Like why I'm wait, I thought the vocal was coming in there. Well, no, Joe, you didn't count it out right. You know what I mean? Like it is one of the best, from what I recall, explanations without being an asshole about it, quite frankly, or, being overly complicated about it that I've seen. And I distinctly remember that part of the video because I was like, oh, I need to write this down.
And here's how...
And I had been DJing a million years at that point when I watched that video.
Here's how important I think it is. I want my mind to think in terms of 4/4s. When I work out, when I lift weights in sets of 16. Okay. And I don't count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I literally do curls going 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4,
wow.
3, 2. When I bench press, I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, because I want my mind always thinking, not in 16s, but I want my mind always thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4. So if you understand the importance of that, and you're working out, most people work out, they do sets of 15. So stop doing that, do sets of 16, and start counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. And the more you do that in your life, the more you will realize, like Joe just said, sometimes he's off because his phrasing is off. Listen, we've all done that.
Sure.
I'm sure Dave Lander has done a mix where his phrasing is off. Probably didn't record it and put it out there, but I'm sure he's done it every once in a while. But the more you understand phrasing, the much less likely you are to do it. Here's one of the things that is horrible to do in beat mixing. And if you don't understand phrasing, you'll do it often. Layering vocals. You should almost always avoid layering vocals.
My sister and I had this talk yesterday.
The vocal of the outgoing song is playing, and you come in with the vocal of the new song. Again, even if that mix is on beat, boom, boom, perfect to a beat, it's going to sound like crap. Okay. So if you don't understand phrasing, you might make that mistake. You might throw the incoming song too early, and now the vocal is started before the chorus of the outgoing song has ended.
Listen,
big mistake.
Also, Mike, are you the guy that also gets pissed off when your windshield wipers aren't synced up to the song that's playing on the radio when it's raining?
Absolutely.
Yeah, me too.
Listen,
like, this is off. Stop.
When I run with music, one of the reasons why I have 800 songs on my running playlist, and I have a number of different tempos in there because I tend to run. So I can't have, I couldn't have 150 BPM songs all the time in there because I would get too tired. So every once in a while, I've got a 95 BPM. And when you have it on shuffle, it comes up that way. 120 BPMs. I'm going to step up the pace a little bit here. Now I got a 110. I can slow it down. Absolutely the same way. If I'm listening to a dance song and my wipers are off, yes, it's a huge pain in the ass. It's one of the things that DJing
somebody watching live just said, the way you lift weights, they eat cookies the same way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. That's pretty good.
That's great.
But so, and I want to say this again, talking to the people that are thinking about getting into this, talking to the people that are stuck in their ways, still downloading the radio only edit, like, you really don't have a reason now to not necessarily mess up phrasing, but to miss on the counts and things like that, because every record pool now has intro clean of pretty much every song that you're going to need, unless it's, a Sony song that you can't get or whatever reason. But I mean, I have redrums and intros of September, Love Shack, Brick House, play that funky music. Like, it is so much easier now to get into and out of a record based on the types of edits that are out there. And again, they don't have all the hype, what? I mean, I'm literally just talking about an extra, you know what I mean? Like, so it just, I feel like the ease of doing this, or the technology has come, and again, people are in the comments saying, hey, you can even use the sync button. Look, if you got to use the sync button, use the damn sync button, but it's going to be better than channel fading in and out of songs. You know what I mean? So use your technology, use these record pools, use these edits. You don't.
And when you say use technology, I use Serato, but from what I understand, every single platform software does this. You put your cue points in whenever I get my hands on a new song, and this is one of the reasons why I continue to do my monthly new music mix, because it forces me to put my cue points in. I take a typical remix that has a 32 beat intro. I put the cue point in on the 1. I put my second cue point in on the 16. I put my third cue point in where probably the vocal, but sometimes it's the melody, but whatever I want to hit. And I can literally see it coming. Sometimes I skip to the 16 because I don't need a 32 beat intro. Sometimes I skip to the 8 because I need a short intro. And then I also usually mark my choruses throughout so that I know, my 32 chorus is starting here, my 32 chorus is starting there. And you can't miss it. If you spend, what does that take? A minute a song? So, I mean, if you get your hands on 30 new songs a month that you're going to use, you're taking a half hour to an hour of your time, familiarizing yourself, putting in your cue points, and then you always have them.
No, I'm 100% on my list of do better this year. That is cue points, listening to music, not even necessarily digging for this like ultra rare track. That's just not the type of shows I play, but getting familiar with stuff and entering those cue points as soon as I drag them in onto the hard drive. 100% on my, like, Joe, start this season doing this. One of my top 3 things probably.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that if you put in the time prior to, then when you're at the event, you're so much more confident because you've got all this homework done for you.
Sure.
You're not guessing, I hope this song has a 32 intro, but I'm not sure. Does the vocal start at the 16? I hope not. You don't have to worry about it.
Man, great points, Mike. Yeah. Great points. Yeah. Anything else about like the basics before we kind of touch on this the scratching, which I guess
I don't know. I think we've covered it. I think that's it. And then it goes back to the practice thing. I mean, you're going to get better and better at this. And we should also mention, if you are practicing, record yourself. And again, I believe every single one of these platforms, it's as easy with Serato. I just hit record, make sure the volume looks good. And then, so record yourself for two reasons. Number one, to go back and self-critique so that you can go back and say, oh, I missed that one, or that one was good. But number two, if you're happy, if you've put a half hour, 40-minute mix together and you're like, damn, this is pretty good, you should have an active Mixcloud or SoundCloud page where you upload that. Again, if you're not familiar with me, find me on Mixcloud. I'm DJ Mike Walter. I upload at least 2 mixes a month, sometimes even more. Some are from my live shows at a wedding. I'll just hit record and I'll record a set. Some of them I do in my basement, and I plan them out and everything else. But either way, I know for a fact I have closed events because clients have listened to some of my mixes on SoundCloud or Mixcloud and said, "You're the guy. I want you." So
couldn't agree more with that. I mean, definitely, I need to be more regular like Mike is, but couldn't agree more with that. Couldn't agree more with listening to it back, putting it in the hands of some people you trust. Especially if you're just learning instead of just blasting it out on the internet and acting like it's great. Like, put it in the hands of some DJs you really trust their opinions on, and they'll be honest with you. I give critiques to some of my guys all the time when they want to want me to have a listen. So again, couldn't agree more. Record, playback, ride around, listen to you in your car. Like, it is. Sporn just put it as a sports analogy. Always rewatch your game footage.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, to me, it's a running thing. I'll make a mix. I'll upload it to my Dropbox, and then the next day when I'm running, I'll listen to it. And this way, I'm totally focused on it. I'm not distracted. I'm not listening to it at my desk while I'm doing a bunch of other things. And and sometimes I go, well, that's not going up on Mixcloud.
Oh wow, okay. I was about to ask that. Have you ever?
Okay, absolutely.
Okay,
yeah.
Interesting.
But if I'm happy with it and I'm not going to embarrass myself, and then I throw it out there.
Wow, that's interesting. I've done the same thing. Like, I definitely have done it and been like, "Woo, no, I missed there and I missed there." Like, I don't think I can fix that in the post.
Listen, my Mixcloud platform is very similar to my video demos. On I'm not putting out
the shitty corporate party where nobody got up and danced. Right. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
All right. So, in the time that we tabled this conversation, Jani and one of his guys, DJ Demand, Jason Cohen, put out a YouTube video, which was really good, as most of Jason's content. By the way, if you're not following his channel on YouTube, check him out. I know he's trying to build his subs up. Sidebar, before I get too far, DJMikeWalter.com, I think, Mike, is where you can get that Keys DVD, right? Or any of your
That's
stuff.
correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. So, and in that video, and I did watch it, they were not only stressing the importance of it, if you can do it, but kind of showed some of the basics, and then probably showed some things that I'll never be able to learn. So, Mike, one, I guess, are you doing it? And then B, would you do it? And then C, should you be doing it? I guess.
I'm not, but I'm not going to say
never say never.
I'm not going to use my clients don't want it or blah blah blah.
Right.
When I heard them talking about it, I gave you props because remember PHDJ 2, which we only did once for the graduates.
Oh yeah.
You brought in a guy to kind of teach us the basics of scratching, and that's the only time I've really dipped my hands into it.
Yep.
And I should have continued because I did learn some basics that day.
Me too.
And I let it go and I never focused on it. But I do think Jason and his guy Jason make some great points there. It's not something you're going to do at every single wedding, but it's a tool to have in your toolbox. And if you are the type of professional who always wants to expand their horizon and say, yeah, let me incorporate another talent or skill set into my show, why would you ignore scratching? Because some clients will be impressed by it. Some clients, or it's not even some clients, but some guests at your events will go, oh damn, he just scratched that. So I think Jason made some great points about it. I will say this, as I watched the video, I thought to myself, if you replaced scratching with leading line dances in every time they said it, you could make the exact same. And I know Jason Jani wouldn't because he's kind of anti-leading line. But every point that he made about why would you say no to this? Why not add it to your toolbox? Sometimes you'll use it, sometimes you won't, but at least you have it there. I thought to myself, well, I feel that, and I've made the same point publicly. If you're the type of DJ who puts the Cupid Shuffle on and just hits play and say, here's the Cupid Shuffle, why not learn that dance to the point where you can lead it? Whether you're on the dance floor leading it or not, that's up to you. That's your style, but at least count it off and lead it. And why not? Because are you going to do it at every wedding? No. Matter of fact, plenty of weddings say we don't want any line dances. But when you do get a request for it, instead of just hitting play, why not? So I kind of thought, man, I thought Jason made some excellent points. But there are points that could be made pretty much about. There are points that we made last week about beat mixing. And there are points that I would make also about any kind of emceeing thing. Why not learn it and add it to your show?
I couldn't agree more, man. I mean, this is. I mean, it's very much, this episode is going to be like part one, which I hope you guys listen to, because what we're saying is if you want to learn it, there's a million places online that you can learn it, or one of your comrades or DJs that works for you possibly. I mean, I'm certain that there are DJs that work at Bunn DJ Company that could smoke my ass. You know what I mean? But they would be more than willing to go, you know what, boss, all that you've done for me and all the relationship we've had, I'll be glad to come in on a Sunday and show you an hour, but you're going to have to keep practicing, just like we said in the last episode. You can't, I brought in somebody, a wizard, and showed Mike, myself, a bunch of guys in that PHDJ too. But how many people really left there and took it home and practiced on the controller? Like that, again, it's very much like the other episode. You can learn it, you can study people, you can watch it on video, you can watch it on YouTube, but again, keep your gear set up, practice.
And can I please make the point, you and I have said practice a number of times. We don't mean practice at somebody else's event.
Holy shit,
don't
no.
mean that.
I said that.
If anyone is thinking that, you don't scratch. You shouldn't even beat mix at somebody else's event unless you've got the basics down. You are better off voicing over every segue or just doing your fade in and fade out. You're better off doing that because, Joe uses this great term about sneakers in a dryer. If your mixes sound like a sneaker in a dryer, don't do it at somebody else's event. I would never scratch at somebody's event right now. Maybe 6 months from now, if I do watch some more videos and practice and probably drive Kelly crazy in the basement with her going, what the hell are you doing down
What's with the wiki?
Exactly. Then I might add it to my show, but please don't practice at somebody else's event.
I'm clapping again. Oh, man, this was good stuff, Mike.
And by the way, Jay, I don't know if he's put out a part 2 and a part 3 yet, but in that initial
he did say that
video, they said they were putting out some videos that were going to show like tutorials. So I now as we're recording this in late March right now, I don't think those videos have dropped, but by the time they have, which I think will be April 8th when we drop this, they may already be out. So look, like you said, look for Jason Jani's platform.
Just subscribe to his channel.
Subscribe it so you get notifications and I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to probably learning from Jason.
That's awesome, man.
And if he's ever at one of my events, I'll scratch him.
Hey, come look at this.
I had that, by the way, when Marcello got married, which is 4 years ago now, I think.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Jason was at that wedding, and Marcello was so good at this. At first he was like, "Listen, Jill and I just want you to marry us. Just be the officiant." I was, no problem. And then it was, "Hey, can you bring a sound system too?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, no problem." And then he was like, "Listen, after dinner, would you mind just?" And I was like, "You somehow," and I would do it for him.
It's like, right, of course.
But I was like, "I'm DJing this wedding,"
right?
And I remember literally the pressure when we got to the dancing. I'm like, "Holy shit, Jason!"
It's like, it's like 95 DJs here or something.
I'm like beat mixing, like sweat pouring down. I'm like, "Oh, right."
Half the DJs in New Jersey are in this venue. Great,
exactly. Yeah, I don't think I embarrassed myself that night.
No way, dude. Well, we've already heard about it, I'm sure. Man, good stuff. Any last thoughts?
I think that's it.
Fantastic, man. Well, guys, thanks for sticking around. You got to see, the people that are still on got to see basically 2 episodes recorded right here live. For everybody else, thank y'all for listening week to week. Always would love a review on iTunes. We'd appreciate that. And just keep on listening, man. We couldn't appreciate you guys more. And Mike, we're going to try and keep doing it, right?
We are. We're going to keep doing it, man. man. As long as we still have ideas. I love chatting with you every week.
I do too, man.
I
Absolutely.
would miss you too much.
I know. I called Mike the other day on the phone. And he goes, Jesus. He goes, I don't. When was the last time we talked without mics in our faces?
Exactly.
And whatever I asked you could have been an episode, but I think we've already done it.
Yeah,
about the ceremony rig.
Right.
Awesome, guys. Thank y'all so much.
Ciao.